You are not defined by your wins and or your losses. So this really kind of runs in line with the definition of success, which was number 8. But I wanted to get really clear with this because I know a lot of you out there right now that are maybe struggling with failures. You're struggling with setbacks. You're struggling with doubts. You're struggling with insecurities. You're struggling with why can't I seem to get things going right in my life? I'm here to tell you your addiction is not defining who you are. Your actions, your habits, your wins, and or your losses do not define you. If you make $1 million, it doesn't define you. If you overcome pornography, it doesn't define you. If you lose to pornography and you fail and you relapse, it doesn't define you. Number one, you're defined by your creator. Okay. He gives you your identity. And beyond that, nothing else matters. What is going on, everybody? Guys, welcome back this week to another amazing, guys, and very exciting, but more importantly, a very important episode this week. Guys, as always, before we kick off today's episode, I just want to remind you how incredibly grateful and thankful we are to have you here with us today. Guys, 120 episodes. It's hard to believe that just under 3 years ago, this entire thing started. And what I wanted to do with this week's episode, guys, is I'm going to run solo here. And I just wanted to reveal with you and share with you my top 10 lessons that I've learned over these past 3 years of being porn free. Many of you may or may not know that my day of freedom came on February 14th, 2019. And it was that day that for the first time, after really battling and struggling with this addiction to porn and masturbation for almost 20 years, that I took the responsibility on myself to change. I made a decision, which I shared in episode 1, sitting with a very close friend of mine, somebody that I wildly respected. And it was in that moment, in that car, that my entire life changed. And here we are recording this episode in March of 2022, 3 years removed from that date. And everything in my life has changed. The work that I'm doing, the purpose that I have in life, the vision that I see clearly for what I want to create in this world, the love that I have for others, how I want to serve and make other people's lives more meaningful has all come out of that single day. So I want to get into revealing the top 10 lessons. And guys, there were a lot. I had to really work to get this list compiled down. But before jumping into that, guys, I want to take a moment here today and recognize our sponsor. We've been working with them for quite a while now. You guys may or may not be familiar with this company and this organization, but the sponsor for today's show is none other than Covenant Eyes. Guys, we love Covenant Eyes here at the Superhuman Life and also at Rebuilt Recovery. They're a partner with the work that we're doing, and we recommend them to our clients, to our students, to our followers, to the consumers of our content all the time. Now, Covenant Eyes has been helping people, both men and women, overcome pornography for over 21 years with their world-class accountability software and insightful educational resources. Covenant Eyes understands that people find freedom through supportive and authentic relationships. Guys, and like I said, we understand it here, but Covenant Eyes really understands it, that they've been around long enough and they know that porn affects everybody, men, women, children, everyone. If you are struggling with pornography, guys, today we have a message for you. You are not alone, and we are here to help. So we partnered with Covenant Eyes, and we have a special offer for all of the Superhuman Life podcast listeners. Guys, a free 30-day trial to the Covenant Eyes software by using promo code SUPERHUMAN. That's one word, SUPERHUMAN, at checkout. Guys, all you need to do is visit their website, www.covenanteyes.com, and enter promo code SUPERHUMAN at checkout, or just follow the link down there in the description box or in the show notes on the podcast listening side. So guys, go check them out. Free 30-day trial. Like I said, it's a tool and resource that we use inside of our coaching curriculum. So we're in support of it. And guys, I actually just went on to the Covenant Eyes podcast a couple months ago. The episode has dropped, and it's just gained tremendous reach. So I'm going to drop that down there in the show notes as well, guys, to my interview with the team over at Covenant Eyes on their podcast. But let's get into today's conversation, guys. The top 10 lessons from me after being porn free for the last 3 years, a little over 3 years. And like I said, guys, this was something that I worked on last week while I was away in Nashville. And it was interesting because I had the idea for the show. I wanted to do 10 lessons And I had a couple of them already kind of, planned out in my mind. But when I sat down to compile the list and put the notes together, I got to tell you, these 10 came super, super quick. And there were a lot more that I had to work through. So I landed not just on 10 lessons, but on my top 10. We could probably do 20, 30, 40, 50. I may turn that into maybe a blog article at some point, but I wanted to share with you just the 10 most important ones, the top 10 lessons from living porn free for the last 3 years. And some of these guys I feel I really maybe had a small understanding of before, but it's all become more crystal clear. And I ultimately believe that, these lessons are not just for men that are struggling with porn. These are lessons that I've learned, gained, and acquired over the last 3 years. So my hope and prayer is that with sharing this with you today, whether you're caught up in the compulsive and addictive behavior right now, that this could be the hope for you to understand that if you trust the process, your life will improve, your life will get better. The way you see the world, the way you see people, the way you see yourself showing up in the world, all will change with time. You got to trust the process, though, brothers. But then for those of you out there that consume this podcast on a weekly basis and maybe aren't dealing and struggling with some of those addictive behaviors, these lessons are for you as well. I think that these are rooted in true proven success principles. So if you're hearing this, you're like, yeah, this episode's probably not going to be for me. I encourage you and I challenge you to stick around because I do believe that there's going to be something of value out of this week's episode. So here we go, guys. Top 10 lessons from 3 years, 100% porn free. First lesson, guys, is you are capable of so much more than what you currently believe. First lesson, guys, is you are capable of much more than what you believe. And this really came out of our philosophy of recovery, right? We believe that a man will only struggle in finding true freedom if he lacks certain character traits in and of himself, but more importantly, and this is the one that we work on the most with our men, is the self-belief in and of themselves. Guys, I don't want anything that I share here today to come across as a way as if I'm bragging or touting my past successes. But in 2019, before I made a decision to quit porn and get out of my life for all, I had a proven track record of success, at least in my opinion. Now, other people would argue with that, but this is me. I'm talking about me. I believe that up until that point, if I wanted to achieve something, I could go out and do it. I could change my body physically. I could compete in bodybuilding shows, placing third in the world in the WBFF in 2015, and then placing fourth in the state of Florida in the NPC Classic Division in 2016. And guys, those aren't impressive stats, but for me, it meant a lot. I'd also built, a couple different successful businesses. So, but when I got on the other side and really what 2019 revealed to me was what I was capable of mentally and in the working place. So I was fortunate to get an opportunity just coming off the back end of quitting porn. And it threw me into a very fast growing organization, an environment that I'd never been a part of. And it really challenged and tested my bandwidth as an individual. And I've just carried that with me for the last 3 years. To think that back in 2019, we would have a podcast ranking the top 100 in the world. We would be reaching over 100 different nations. We would be reaching over 50, 60,000 men every single week and month with our videos in our YouTube channel, and that we would be impacting and saving 2,500 men from the compulsive and addictive behavior with pornography. I would have told you there's absolutely no way. And then when I look at what the men are doing inside of our program, launching businesses, reconnecting with their wives, reestablishing marriages, servicing the world, servicing the communities. Brothers, I'm telling you, if you're struggling right now, stick with the process, follow through on the action steps because you are capable of so much more than you believe. In the last 3 years have truly revealed that to me and everybody I've had the opportunity to work with. Guys, lesson number 2 from the past 3 years of porn free is what you write down becomes your reality. I don't think it's what you focus on becomes your reality because I think we focus on a lot of things and those become segments of our reality. But the true life that you live, the life that you create, comes from what you write down. So in late 2018, just before making the decision, I sat down with my Phoenix journal, which is what I use, guys, still to this day to do all my daily, weekly, and monthly planning. I had written down 12 to 15 clear objective goals that I wanted to achieve in the next 5 years. Now, some of those were relationship focused. So clearly you guys knowing kind of, what's happened in my life and my relationships, those have not been achieved. But when I look back at that original Phoenix journal, almost every single thing I wrote down has come to life. The impact, the reach, what I'm actually doing for a living, not just podcasting, speaking, creating content, coaching people, But working in a business consulting, coaching type of role is something back in 2019 I would have never had the thought that I would actually been in a position to do this. It was a dream, but it required me to take the action and actually achieve it. But it all started with me writing it down. When I talk about where I'm living and where I'm moving and some of the things that I'm participating in and the charity work and the service work that we're doing, all of that started by me writing it down on paper in 2018 and then setting that piece of paper as the guiding light at which I planned and took action for every single day. So I'm not talking about manifesting thing. I'm not talking about the secret. I'm not talking about write something down and it's going to become the reality, but write it down and then break it down into an actionable plan and the world will be yours. So the second top 10 lesson from the past 3 years is what you write down becomes your reality. Third lesson, guys, is gratitude is the most powerful tool to change your perspective. And I had to change some of the wording here because originally I was going to put the most powerful tool to change your life. But I'm not really sure that is the correct way. And I was also going to say to change your state of mind. But knowing what I know from breathing and studying Dr. Andrew Huberman's work, we know breathing is actually the most effective and powerful tool to change your state of mind in real time. So when I talk about perspective, it's the way that you're looking at and seeing a situation or scenario play out in your life, and why I think gratitude is so powerful to change that perspective, because it doesn't matter what's going on currently. It doesn't matter the situation. It doesn't matter the environment. It doesn't matter what is happening in your life. Every single situation, every single opportunity, every single failure, setback, struggle, challenge, roadblock, if you look at it through the lens of gratitude, what can you get out of it? What can you learn? What can you grow? What can you evolve into from this challenging situation? There's a clear shift in the way that you're looking at it. No longer a confrontation, no longer a challenge or struggle, but an opportunity to grow. So I think when we learn to shift our focus from not why is this happening to me, but what is this teaching me? How can I learn from this? Because life doesn't happen to you, right? It happens for you. And if you understand what that ultimately means, that is living in a state of gratitude because it's happening for me. That means that there's something good that's coming out of every possible situation. So right now, if you're struggling with porn, you got to be grateful for the opportunity that you're aware of it, because men, there are millions and millions and millions of people that are walking around the world right now that are caught up in this and aren't even aware. Maybe they're even avoiding it. Maybe they're even believing that what they're doing is actually the proper way to live a life. So for you, if you're aware that there's a problem in your life and you're actually clear on how to change it, brother, be grateful that you're clear, aware, and have a process to follow, because on the other side of that, I'm telling you, you are capable of so much more than you currently believe right now. So the third lesson that I've really landed on here, brothers, is gratitude is the most powerful tool to change your perspective. Fourth lesson, men, you guys have heard me talk about this over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. Personal responsibility, full on ownership is the only path to true and everlasting freedom. Yes, you can quit porn for the short term, just not taking responsibility on yourself. You just stay away from it. You can find minor success, but knowing that triggers are going to come, urges are going to come, setbacks, failures, struggles, all will be a part of your life for the rest of your life. If you don't understand that you are the only person that is responsible for the actions that you take, chances are you will slip back. Brother, we're men. We are humans. We are weak. We are broken by our nature. But if we come from the place of taking full ownership for every single thing that we are doing, then we are in an empowering position to find and create everlasting freedom. So the fourth lesson, guys, here from the last 3 years is personal responsibility is the only path to true and lasting freedom in your life. Fifth lesson, guys, your purpose will be found in the service of others. This one is new to me. This I didn't think and I didn't really understand until probably the last two-ish, maybe year and a half. I always thought your purpose was going to be what was going to create not meaning in your life, but what was going to create eyeballs attention for you. I thought it was supposed to be self-serving. I thought your purpose was supposed to serve you, was supposed to make you feel good, was supposed to make you feel good, for lack of a better word here, but it's not. The purpose of your life will be found in serving other people. That can be servicing through a coaching, that can be servicing through the work that you can do, that can be servicing through being a parent. Your purpose in life can be to be to an amazing mother, can be to become an amazing father. The service of a mother, of a father, is to the people that they're responsible for taking care of. Your purpose can be to be an incredible designer. that work, the graphic design, the art design work that you're doing is serving the world because it creates a visual representation of whatever product you are designing it for, right? So there's a service component many times to everything that we're doing. And if we look at it from that lens, and if we find where can I benefit, and we look for opportunities to where can I change and impact somebody else's life, chances are there will be meaning and purpose that is found in that opportunity for you. So I deeply, deeply believe with strong conviction today that your purpose will be found in the service of others. Sixth lesson, guys, here from the last 3 years is all transformation starts with the physical. All transformation starts with the body, right? And I knew this. Like, this is not really new to me, at least in terms of how I changed my life, and I think that this has played a major role in why back in 2019, when I flipped the switch, I don't want to say it was easy because, brothers, I do not want to give that message that anything in my life has come easily for me. But for a decade leading up to that day, I had mastered transforming my physique and others. So when I had to transform my life, I already had that first checkbox, right? I already had that first checkbox already marked. So it was easier for me to then step into and change my state of mind, to change my heart, to change my perspective and how I saw the world. So if you're out there right now and you're struggling, you can't seem to find the way out of this behavior, you can't seem to find the way out of anything, begin by taking control of your body. By dialing in your nutrition, get in a macro plan, get in some type of intermittent fasting, dial in your training 4 or 5 days a week. If you need some help, brothers, reach out to me. This is what I did for 10 years before doing this work, right? So, but if you're ultimately going to change your life, you have to start by changing your body. And there's so much carryover effect. We talk about the discipline, we talk about the willpower. When I talk about transformation starts with the physical, I'm not telling you that in order to achieve a life transformation, in order to achieve overcoming addiction, in order to achieve a financial transformation, that you need to reach 8% body fat or 10% body fat or have six-pack abs, because it's not about reaching a specific goal. When I talk about the transformation starts with the physical, it's the physical is going to change you. It's going to require you to develop certain character traits, certain disciplines, certain belief systems that then will be carried over into other areas and other endeavors of your life. Because many times, men, when we're trying to quit porn, we get in a plan, we get in a process. We don't really feel good right out of the gate, right? We know that usually you hit a shot of adrenaline. So you're excited about joining a new program. You're excited about this is my attempt. I'm going to go 90 days this time. But then we know what happens week 2, week 3, week 4. You hit that flatline period. You start feeling a little bit worse. So you don't really feel and experience the fruits of the work. So it's hard to really understand, like, is what I'm doing actually working? Well, with a physical transformation, when you sign up for a fitness challenge, when you stick to a regimented diet plan and nutrition and training regimen, you will actually begin to see and feel differently within the matter of the first couple of days, week, 2 weeks tops. So it's a reminder and it's a confirmation that, hey, if you do the work, it actually works. If you do the work, you will actually change. And many times that's a shot of confidence that we need to our belief system to then stick with the process, follow through, stay off porn, reboot, rewire our brain so we can ultimately become the men that we all were created to be. So, sixth lesson, guys, here from the past 3 years of being 100% porn free is that all transformation starts with the physical. Guys, lesson number 7, we are not meant to do this thing alone. And when I talk about this thing, I'm not just talking about recovery. I'm ultimately talking about life. And and it's funny to use this thing as defining life, but I don't think that there's any part of our life that is meant to be walked alone. Yes, you need some quiet time. Yes, you need some time by yourself. You need some mindfulness practice. You need times where you fill your cup up, right? So that you can then go back out and serve the world through your purpose. So there are components where we're going to spend time by ourselves. So the lesson is not spend 24 hours a day with other people, but it's understanding that if it's addiction recovery, you're not meant to do it alone. If it's building a business, you're not meant to do it alone. If it's transforming and changing your physique, you're not meant to do it alone. If it's going out and having a great time on a Friday or Saturday night, you're not meant to do it alone. You can, but you're not. We are created for relationships. We are created for intimacy. And that is a part of the meaning of why we are here. So we are not meant to do life alone. And this I did not understand until I got free. Because you and I both know if you're struggling with the compulsive behavior right now with porn and masturbation, one of the worst things it does to you is it puts you in this place of selfishness, right? It's all about us. What and who can I consume for this short-term instant gratification pleasure for myself? So we wire and condition ourselves to only need people to bring us pleasure, to only need people to make us feel good. And when you understand that, it's not what they're doing for you, it's just actually having people that care about you, people that love you, in your life that where the meaning is found. So trust me, brothers, when I say we are not meant to do this thing alone. And if you find yourself sitting in isolation, get out. Get out in the community, go to a coffee shop, go to a mall, go to your downtown city, walk around the park, walk along the pier, whatever the case may be, because we both know that addiction feeds itself in isolation and we need to stop it. Okay. So, lesson number 7, guys, is we are not meant to do this thing called life alone. 8th lesson, guys, also another new one, something that I would have given you a completely different answer 3 years, 4 years, 2 years ago. And it's the definition of success is alignment. And this is a question that I've been asked now in the last year, probably a dozen times on different podcasts, multiple podcasts out there. You go on these business entrepreneurship ones, and they see what you're doing, and it's an easy question, right? And I understand, I respect it, but Frank, what's your definition of success? Years ago it would have been X amount of dollars in the bank account. It would have been sub 8% body fat. It would have been landing on a fitness cover magazine. It would have been bodybuilding shows. It would have been trophies. It would have been status, cars, watches, money in the bank account, figures in my business. All those things still mean something to me to a small degree. I'm a businessman. I want to hit certain metrics in our business. I want to hit certain numbers from our reach. I want our downloads to be at a certain level. So we still chase metrics because it's a scoreboard, it's a scorecard, right? But when I talk about success, it's alignment. And when I talk about alignment, it's are the words that I'm saying aligned with the actions that I'm taking, and are those clearly aligned with the thoughts that I'm having? So do what I say actually align with my actions? And when you do that, when you focus on alignment, the rest of success, the metrics, the scoreboard, the cars, the numbers, the success, the revenue, all those things take care of themselves if that's what you want, if that's what you've written down. Now, if you don't write down what you want to achieve, then obviously we know that what you write down becomes your reality. Lesson number 2 here today, guys. But understanding success is not about fame. It's not about achievements. It's not about wins. It's not about losses. It's not about money in the bank account. It's not about cars. It's not about clothing. It's not about shoes. The success of your life is going to be dictated and predicated on the alignment of your thoughts, words, and actions. Guys, lesson number 9 from the last 3 years is fasting is the most powerful life hack. Not the most powerful tool to change your state of mind. We know that's breathing. The most powerful life hack. Guys, up until late 2018, I believe, I had never fasted. I was a bodybuilder. You had to eat every 3 hours. I used to wake up in the middle of the night just to consume a meal because I was so set on every 3 hours. But now that I've gotten on the other side, and it's a part of our curriculum, and it's a part of what we do, and it really changed my life back in 2019 when I flipped to carnivore, started practicing intermittent fasting and OMAD for a while. I can't tell you how amazing it is to truthfully never feel hungry. Like that's probably one of the greatest things is you guys know when you're with people and you're out and you're sightseeing or you're doing events and it's all day stuff. You got that one person that's from the get, they're like nagging about food and I'm hungry and when are we eating? What's for breakfast? What's for lunch? What's for dinner? And it's like, dude, be present in the moment. Enjoy all this. We shouldn't constantly be thinking about our food. I just spent a week up in Nashville. Not Nashville, I was in Gatlinburg. I'm going to Nashville next month. I'm sorry, but I was in Tennessee. I definitely was in Tennessee for a week. But up there, it was amazing because for one, the entire drive, 10 hours, like I didn't need to eat. I didn't need to think. I wasn't hungry. And then throughout the day, we were able to walk around the parks. We were able to go on the rides. We were able to do all the different things down there, go in the shops and all this, not having to think about food. Wait, one, maybe 2 meals every single day while we were up there. It's absolutely incredible. So for me, fasting has become a part of my life. It's become a part of how I live and operate. It's become a part of our coaching. And I've shown and proven because I put on about 20 pounds of muscle in the last 4 to 6 months that you can actually grow. You can actually get bigger. You can actually put muscle on, still following an intermittent fasting diet, which I would have told you years ago was not possible. But we even get into it in the episode 8 or 10 with Danny Vega way back in the beginning. So check that out, guys. But if you're not fasting, test it out. If you need some help with it, reach out. Love to have a conversation. If you really want to get into the weeds with it, check out the episode, believe it's 62 with Dave Asprey. We talked about fast this way to unlock your superhuman powers, and he shares it. The founder of biohacking. I said, Dave, what's the biggest biohack or the greatest biohack in the world? Frank, it's fasting. And it blew my mind, blew my mind away. But here we are, guys, talking a year later about exactly the same thing. And I'm sharing it with you. One of the biggest lessons I've learned in the last 3 years is that fasting is the most powerful life hack. And number 10, guys, here we are. You are not defined by your wins and or your losses. So this really kind of runs in line with the definition of success, which was number 8. But I wanted to get really clear with this because I know a lot of you out there right now that are maybe struggling with failures. You're struggling with setbacks. You're struggling with doubts. You're struggling with insecurities. You're struggling with, why can't I seem to get things going right in my life? I'm here to tell you, your addiction is not defining who you are. Your actions, your habits, your wins and or your losses do not define you. If you make $1 million, it doesn't define you. If you overcome pornography, it doesn't define you. If you lose to pornography and you fail and you relapse, it doesn't define you. Number one, you're defined by your creator. Okay. He gives you your identity. And beyond that, nothing else matters. Okay. So you are not defined by your wins and losses, guys. So top 10 lessons, guys. I want to run through them here one more time. You are capable of so much more than you believe. Number 2, what you write down becomes your reality. Number 3, gratitude is the most powerful tool to change your perspective. Number 4, personal responsibility is the only path to lasting freedom. Number 5, guys, your purpose will be found in the service of others. Number 6, all transformation starts within the physical. Number 7, we are not meant to do this thing alone called life. Number 8, the definition of success is alignment. Number 9, fasting is the most powerful life hack. And number 10, you are not defined by your wins and or your losses. And guys, those are in no particular order. They're just the 10 that came to me that we were able to dial in after having about 20 or so from the beginning. So I really hope this episode spoke to you. I hope it's maybe brought some inspiration. Maybe it brought some hope. Maybe it brought some meaning to what it is you're trying to do and why you're going to stay consistent in overcoming this addiction to pornography. So what I want to do now, guys, for those of you that are out there and are ready to take the next step, you are ready to overcome the struggle, you're ready to overcome and break the chains to this addiction. Underneath down there, guys, in the description box or in the show notes there, I'm going to drop a link to our course, the Reboot Your Life 16-week PMO recovery course. And if you use promo code SUPERHUMAN, you can get $50 off of the course, which you'll have lifetime access to, 365-day money-back guarantee if you follow the course, you follow the materials, and your life does not improve. So check it out there down there below, guys. Like I said, use code SUPERHUMAN at checkout to take $50 off the course and get lifetime access to finding freedom from porn and masturbation forever. Guys, I really hope you enjoyed this week's episode. If you're new here, thank you for joining us. If you want to help us grow and continue to support the show, you can do it in one of 2 ways. First off, if you're listening on Apple, Spotify, Podbean, whatever platform you are on, leave us a rating and written review, right, guys? You know, we're thousands of weekly listeners. We got 108, 109 reviews. So there's a lot of you out there that are tuning in, that are listening. Do some service for the world. Get down there, take a minute to share your thoughts, to share how this podcast is impacting your life. If you're listening on YouTube, drop us a comment down there below, guys. Make sure to hit that subscribe button. We do release videos 7 days a week. Weekly podcast on Monday. The other 6 days is teaching, talking, highlighting, giving you the insights to break free from pornography, guys. But Frank Rich here, host of the Superhuman Life. So incredibly grateful to have you here this week. Hope you enjoyed the 10 lessons, the top 10 lessons from the last 3 years, 100% porn free. Make sure to stick around and check back next week when we get back to our regularly scheduled interview style. But I felt it was necessary to drop in here. We like to do these every month to 6 weeks, right, guys? So if you're enjoying the solo episodes and you would like to hear more of those, leave a comment, leave a note, send me a message. If you guys like more of this, shorter episode kind of structured format, love to hear from you guys. So thank you once again, guys, for tuning in this week. Frank Rich here at the Superhuman Life. I love you guys. And we'll see you on the other side.